Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This was the last week's plan with me that we did. All the sparkles. It was so pretty. It was fun to talk through this one. So I'm liking the voiceover so far. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like it, perfect. I'll keep going. If you don't like it, let me know that too. All right, so this is the first week of summer. It's also the last full week of June. I was looking for like a rainbow type kit to use because I thought that a rainbow kit would be very apt for the last week of June. And this is what I found. This was the June 2023 mystery kit from the Glam planner. So this is literally the kit that I got this week in June. So I hope you guys like it. I think it's super cute. Don't mind my cat because he does this every time I sit down to do one of these. But yeah, I figured this was about as rainbow as I was gonna get, and I thought it was really pretty. I did not go to a water park. I actually have a mild issue with water parks because that's when my germaphobe comes out. I'm not super germaphobe in any other situation, just with water parks and public pools. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the voiceover portion of this now, and I hope you guys enjoy. Hi guys, so hopefully you can hear me better now because I am dumb and didn't realize that the computer was trying to record my voice, not the Yeti mic that I have sitting in my lap. So hopefully this is a lot better sounding and will be a lot easier to record in the future. I do have a little like puff mic thing on, so hopefully I don't pop in your ears. Um, I've noticed that for this one, the lighting, it kind of gets gray sometimes. I think it's a camera thing, and I'm honestly not positive how to fix it. I need to play with that camera more. It is really, really terrible in low light, but even in good lighting, it still almost grays out occasionally, like it was doing a little while ago. And I just started laying down the base for the next plan with me, and I noticed the same thing. So hopefully overall the lighting looks decent. I love this kit, by the way. I think it is super pretty. I absolutely adore all the sparkles and shines and all sorts of stuff like that. So the kit that I used here was a Glam planner kit. Yeah, Glam planner kit. Which I think I already said, but I had to stop and look at the actual kit itself because the Glam planner kits have specific glitter overlays where it'll glitter out certain areas where Scribble Prints does not have those. And so usually I can figure out which ones are which just based on the glitter. But the kits themselves, they are of similar quality now and similar style also. I noticed that when they first started, they kind of had very different. At least the kit layouts were completely different, and the kit layouts are still pretty different. But I feel like they just, I don't know, they look similar now. So sometimes it takes me a minute to realize who's whose. But they are my favorites. It's probably why they're my favorites, is because they are so similar, and they're such high quality that they're good sticker kits. Not that they need me to rep them up because I mean they're huge companies in this realm. If you don't do anything sticker related, then you probably wouldn't know that. But for those of us who actually have been, planning with stickers for a while, it's pretty obvious that these are the two of the biggest hitters. I would like to find some other sticker companies though. Key Towns is one of my favorites, and they are on hiatus for right now. But his stickers are beautiful and they're always really fun. And he's got themes that the girls just don't do. I know that they are both really, or not both. I know that Scribble Prince has been really into planning Hannah lately. Something about her glitter overlays that they're all using a lot of. I don't know about Elle because Elle doesn't post very often. Um, but other than that, I don't have a lot of sticker companies that I use. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Just so you know, I did mess up right here. I was looking at the wrong week when I was writing down my times for what times I actually worked. So I had to go back through and fix them. So if it looks a little weird, if the colors don't line up the way they're supposed to, it's because I did a boo boo. And then on this week's kits, we don't have like the actual work labels. And so I was trying to figure out how to write it all in while I was filming it. And it ended up being a total mess. But that one I will figure out. So yeah, the I was writing down the wrong week completely here. So that's why you see me crossing out and not using a couple of the headers. And I just kind of did the best I could with what I had left. Luckily, I only had a couple of shifts this week. I've also noticed since the beginning of summer, there's been a lot less shifts in general lately. They have a bunch of shifts from like 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. and then that's it. So we have like 5 shifts a day, but they run from 3:15 to 4:15, and I don't want to get up that early for $75. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if people just don't order from Amazon as much during the summer. I know Prime Day was kind of a bust. We had a bunch of shifts that got canceled on us. And I'm kind of hoping that it will bounce back. They say this is the slow time of the year, which I find amusing that the summer is the slow time, but I guess it makes sense. People are going to be traveling, they're going to be out in the wilderness doing stuff. Like this weekend is Seafair weekend, and so we have the hydroplanes and Blue Angels in town. And so people maybe just aren't needing to purchase as much stuff as they normally would. And so that's why all of our shifts are going down. I have still gotten a few decent ones, but it's just they're much fewer and farther between than they normally are. Okay, so what I've been doing with these lately is I've been laying down the bottom washi first and then laying down the glitter headers and then topping it off with the dates. It seems to be working the best so far. Um, I like it because it gives me like, you know, it's the good layout type style that works for me. I don't know what I'm saying. I am kind of oblivious right now. I've had a headache for the last couple of days, and I can't help but wonder if it's a weather thing because the last couple of days here, if you don't know, I live in the Pacific Northwest. I live on the far western side of Washington, up on the peninsula, and our weather here, it doesn't get super hot and it doesn't usually get super cold. So when I was a kid growing up, it really didn't get above 80 and it really didn't get below like 30. So you might get a snow here and there and it might have a couple of like 90 days, but for the most part, it stays cooler. Well, right now it is still on the cooler side. It's like in the mid 70s, but because it's been raining, it's been crazy, crazy humid. And I was used to the humidity in Guam where you step outside and you immediately burst into sweat because it's so sticky. Florida, same way, but the temperatures are higher. So here the temperatures are lower. And so you're standing outside and you're trying to figure out why you're overly hot. And it's because it's just humid. And on days that it doesn't rain at all, it feels lovely here. We haven't gotten to the hottest part of the year yet. Hottest part of the year is mid-August to mid-September, so we're just heading into that. But yeah, it's been pretty nasty out here lately. Luckily, we all have ACs. Sadly, we can't all use our ACs because when we do, we throw the circuits because the house is just not equipped for it. Sorry that this one's so late, by the way. It was supposed to go up last Monday, not this Monday. So now we're like a full month behind. And so maybe I'll just do an extra one coming up as like a catch up. But my husband got home from deployment recently and we spent all weekend, last weekend, cleaning out the garage. And we're almost done. We have this tiny little section left that needs to get finished. And so I'm going to make him go down and help me finish the last little bit of it, probably today, after I finish doing the voiceover for this and uploading it. So that way it actually goes out on time for the first time in like a month. I love the husband, but he always sets me behind, not because he's trying to, but because we're always busier when he's around. We're eating out more, we're doing more things, we're just busier. And because we're busier, what gets forgotten? YouTube's. Not on purpose, but because I get home and I'm exhausted and I completely forget. Blame it on the ADHD brain, but I don't know. Side note, when I was first doing this one, I thought it was weird that she had the same pattern for top and bottom. Normally she doesn't, but I think it works out pretty well. It definitely gives you those pulley vibes. I know I wanted this one because it was the most rainbowy one I had for the last week of June, but I also really like the rainbow look, or the rainbow look, the pool look, because the water gives it kind of like this shimmery, sparkly, and that was my favorite part about just hanging out in the pool was being able to uh, watch the water just kind of be pretty. I miss pool days. The only pool we have here is the one on base, and during this time of the year, the chlorine smell is so horrific that you can smell it anywhere in the gym. And I know from having my own pool that it's not supposed to smell like chlorine. Though if when you smell that really pungent chlorine smell, it's because the chlorine is reacting with the urine in the pool, trying to keep it clean. And knowing that grosses me out so bad when the pool smells so strongly that you can literally smell it anywhere in the gym. So all these kids that are racing in and out of that pool, yuck. So I'm not a germaphobe, but I will definitely admit that public pools just do it to me. I cannot deal with public pools. I cannot deal with water parks. As much as I love the water, I just can't do it. I'd rather go swim in the ocean where there's fish poop instead. I do want to find like a lake or something around here. I know that when I was a kid, we would go to the lake a lot, but the only lake that I know of is Lake Washington. And that one is an enormous lake, and they actually had to close down some of the beaches because there was too much goose poop on them. There's also Green Lake, which is in the outskirts of Seattle. And that one, again, I've never been able to swim in that lake. That lake has been contaminated with poop ever since I was a little kid. I know people do swim in it, but I've never actually been able to swim in that lake. So I would like to find a lake that we can actually go swim in because the ocean here is cold. I know that on Guam we had the Pacific Ocean over there too, but it's a warmer area. The water is hotter. Here, the water is always frigidly cold. You go to New York and the water is warmer than it is here. So it's just swimming in the ocean's not a great option. It's not a terrible option, but it's not something I really want to do. So a lake would be perfect if we could, get there. So right now I am trying to make sure that I can figure out which one goes with which because we both know, if you've watched these, that last time I was trying to put a Glam Planner one together that had the overlays, I put them on backwards. So this time I was really trying to make sure that I was positive that I was putting the right overlay on the right picture and that I was putting it on the correct way. And if you look at me, because she changed the orientation of her pages, I was looking at them backwards trying to figure out what was wrong. But I got it figured out and they all went on correctly. So that was a good thing because, I really wonder about my brain sometimes that I cannot figure out how the overlays go on. Oddly enough, she only had a couple overlays in this one instead of a bunch, which I don't know why she chose that. I know she chose to put the like the bougie-ish boxes on. So we have that pool effect that goes on underneath the main like boxes, but I don't know what I like better. I don't know if I like having the underboxes versus the overlays more. I kind of like the overlays more because I feel like you get to see them better. I mean, I do like the underlays. Those ones are a lot of fun, but I don't know. I'm thinking that this was not a stylistic choice that I would have made if I had been given the choice. But it is what she decided to go ahead and do. We do have we have one big full box that I put on Saturday and Sunday because Saturday and Sunday typically are easier days. Either I'm working or we're working out or both, or we're just doing something chill like cleaning the garage. I put the other full box layout on Tuesday and Wednesday, which you see me putting down a second ago. And then, like always, I pick the girl who looks closest to me most of the time. For my daughter's birthday, I picked the one that looked closest to her. But for the main, far corner one, I usually try to pick the one that's closest to me. And there's only one that had like that medium brunette hair with the pale white skin. So now I'm doing the sidebar, and our meals were pretty easy. We've just been experimenting a little bit. We made sloppy joes on Monday. We went to the farmer's market a couple of days prior. So the end of last week, we went to the farmer's market and bought lion head mushrooms. And we thought that lion head mushrooms would be a lot of fun to experiment with. And my son really, really wanted to make sloppy joes. We can't make traditional sloppy joes because I'm allergic to bell peppers, and so is my daughter and one of my sons. But we ended up buying poblano peppers because they have a little bit more heat, but they're still fairly sweet. And as far as we can tell, they don't upset my stomach. As far as we can tell, it's just the bell peppers, which makes literally no sense to me whatsoever, but we're going to work with it. So we bought the stuff to make the sloppy joes, and we made them with lion heads mushrooms. It ended up really upsetting my son's stomach, and we don't know if maybe the poblanos got him instead. Or if it was the mushrooms or what it was, but it just didn't sit well with him. And then we had leftovers on Tuesday. We had a big salad night on Wednesday. We had like a Chinese bao. I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese. I honestly don't know. But we had bao on Thursday. We had quesadillas on Friday. We went easy mac and cheese night on Saturday and ravioli on Sunday. My daughter is a big mac and cheese fan, so if you see mac and cheese pop up on any of my dinner lists, guaranteed it is because of her. Because she always likes to make too much, and then she never wants to eat it all, or she doesn't want to make it for herself. So I make it for her, and then I end up eating it too. So anytime you see mac and cheese, guaranteed it's because of her. Steps. My average high step count is upwards of 5,000. I do not know how people do the 10,000. That is just so many steps in my opinion, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that I apparently just don't go out and walk. Even when I take my puppy for a 2-mile long walk, I still don't end up with 10,000 steps. So you guys who do 10,000 steps a day, tell me how, because I have no clues. I also was going to try to track my vitamins and my workouts. I have my workouts tracked, but I didn't track my vitamins. And I don't know if that's because I didn't take them or because I forgot to track them. Because the next week I was looking at, I have vitamins written down again, but again, I didn't track them. So I know that I have this multivitamin that I get from like Dr. Ruth or whatever her name is. That's supposed to be really good for you, but it tastes terrible, so I don't take those all the time. But I do have like a gummy vitamin, and then I have like a probiotic supplement as well as selenium. I take Brazil nuts. I eat one Brazil nut a day for my daily dose of selenium, because if you're a bodybuilder, which I am not, but if you're a bodybuilder or a professional athlete of some sort, a lot of them die from heart attacks from lack of selenium. And I don't eat a lot of meat, so I needed to find a good natural source of selenium. And a Brazil nut has like 1,000% of your daily selenium in one nut. So I just have a jar of them sitting on my counter, and I eat one a day. And it's become a running joke that if I'm grabbing them or my husband's grabbing them, we'll ask if we want a nut in the mouth or something like that. It's just those crude jokes that husbands and wives make to each other, and spouses make to each other, and my kids think is disgusting, and they're like, oh my God, that's so gross. Yes, it is, but it's funny for us, so we do it anyways. But I figure if I'm working out 3 to 4 times a week, I want to make sure that I'm fueling my heart And so if all these professional athletes are dying from lack of selenium with heart attacks, I'm going to just eat the nut. And it's not my favorite nut, but it's far from my least favorite nut. It's totally fine. All right, we are finally starting on the actual week. I swear it takes me half the time every time to just set up the basic planner. There's not a ton that I was doing this week, so there's a lot of days where I put down 2 boxes instead of 1, Monday being one of those days. We had a flat tire incident on Monday. So my son went to go fill the tires up because the light came on. And when he went to go fill it, the machine was acting weird and it just drained all the air out. And instead of stopping and like try to troubleshoot why it's doing this, he just kept letting all the air out of the tires until we had to go get a tow truck to come in and take the car. We took it to Walmart because that's where we bought the tires. We thought that we weren't sure if there's something wrong with the tires or if it was the pump that was doing it. Turns out it was the pump. It happened to us again, and there's like a little reset switch, and all you have to do is reset the switch and it will work again. At the time, we didn't know that. So we ended up taking it to Walmart, and Walmart was terrible because at the end, after we were done, the light was still on, and then we figured out that they overfilled one side and underfilled the other. So that was fun. Walmart is useless. But after we dealt with the whole tire thing, we did a grocery run, and we also went to the movies. We went and saw The Little Mermaid. I thought it was really cute. I really liked the new Ariel. There was some CGI moments that I thought were kind of weird. Like the fact that Scuttle is talking to Ariel underwater. I get that this bird can go underwater. And I get that birds don't talk. But it just seems wrong to me that you have an activity that requires breathing from from any animal, whether it's a meow, a bark, or words. When animals make noises, we have to breathe. So I understand the fact that this bird can go underwater for 5 minutes at a time. It's not breathing under there. It's hunting under there. And it can hold its breath. So why do you have it talking underwater? I mentioned this to Ash, and Ash really snidely goes, it's a fantasy. I'm like, I get that, but it still bothers me that you have a bird talking underwater. And then there was some of the scenes, like one of the big fight scenes at the end where Ursula becomes huge and is fighting with Eric and Ariel. That portion I found kind of stupid. I know it wasn't the acting, it was the CGI that was the problem. It was the fact that they literally took the scene straight out of the animated version and put it directly into the non-animated version, and it just doesn't translate well. But a lot of it was really cute. The scene where Ariel's out in town with Eric, all of those things, super, super cute. Overall, I liked it a lot, but there was a few areas where I was snickering. But I think that's the same with most of these live taking the animated and putting it to live action. I think it doesn't translate well all the time. So on Tuesday, again, short day, I put an extra box in. I used a little soft serve ice cream. All we basically did was we had our workout for the day, which we did 10 minutes on the elliptical, 30 minutes of weight training, and then 30 minutes of a walk for the puppy. 30-minute walk for us is usually about 1.5 miles. It takes us about 20 minutes to do a mile, depending on Sam. So if he's in a walking mood, it'll take us about 20 minutes. If he's in a sniffing mood, it'll take us upwards of 4 hours. This dog does not like to walk sometimes. Some days he just wants to dig his face into the smells. And I don't mind if he sniffs. I read a lot of stuff that says if you have a dog on a walk and they are in a sniffy mood, you're supposed to let them sniff it out. But I mean it. Sometimes I could stand there for 10 minutes and he would still be just shoving his nose into the spot. He is not a polite sniffer. He does not understand that his entire face can't go up another animal's rear end when he wants to give them a good sniff. So he does the same thing when we're outside and he smells something in the grass or on the sidewalk. He'll just shove his whole face in there. Strange puppy. I love him to death. Strange puppy. So after we worked out, my son had a doctor's appointment. And that's basically all we did that day. So the rest of the day must have been pretty chill. On Wednesday, again, not a whole lot to go on. We added an extra full box. I had a shift first thing in the morning. My favorite shifts are the 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning shifts. So there'll be like a 6 a.m., 6:15, 6:30, 6:45, or 7. And lately they haven't had those shifts, which bothers me. But those shifts are my favorites. What would normally happen was right between 3 and 5 in the evening the night before. They would spike from their 75 mark up to 130, 120, something along those lines. If you get their early shifts, they would be like 138. If you got the later shifts, it would be about 120. So this one was 128, which is the normal spike for the later shifts. And I really like those later shifts. I find that they work better for me personally because I just can't do the 4 a.m. shifts. After that scare, I can't do it. But they haven't been spiking lately like that. You have to wait until like midnight before you get anything. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I really hope it goes back to normal soon. So the rest of the day, it was just a YouTube. I was working on vlogs and Plan With Me's, which I do a lot around here because that's pretty much the majority of what I post is vlogs and Plan With Me's. Especially since I'm doing one right now. I have a vlog that I just am waiting for one little thing to finish uploading before I can actually upload it. And now I'm doing my voiceover for this so that again I can get it up. Thursday was a longer day. We had another workout. I've been trying to work out Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. This last couple weeks it hasn't been working very well, but that was the goal. And this week we were able to do that. So we did the elliptical for 5 minutes and then weight training for 35 minutes. Weights, I try to keep it between 30 and 45 minutes. It doesn't always work. Like yesterday's was only 20 minutes, but we try. And then I try to do the elliptical for 10 to 15 minutes. I despise the elliptical. I have to watch like TikToks the entire time. But if it's a 5-minute day, there's a good possibility that Elise was with me and she can't do them for very long because she's got a bad knee. She's got loose ligaments and her kneecap tends to pop out of socket really easily. And there's something about the elliptical that strengthens her quads around and to help strengthen her kneecap. But at the same time, it's really uncomfortable for her. So we don't do those a ton. And then after we went to work out, I took Sammy to the groomers. I do not like giving him baths and I hate doing his nails. His nails are black and I can't see the quick and I'm always worried I'm going to hurt him. But he hates his feet being touched. So you take him to the groomers and they hardly ever do his nails. Or they'll do like the basic clip, but they'll still be like jaggedy because they won't buff them out because he doesn't like the buffer. So my pain in the ass dog only partially gets his nails cut when he goes anyways. And so I need to just figure it out. I need to figure out how to do it because I will glare at him until he lets me. And he's pretty good, honestly, about that. If you just give him that look, that mom look, he'll be like, fine, go ahead. I don't like it, but I'll let you do it. While he was at the groomers, I did a Starbucks run. And then once he came home, I did some sewing. I've been working on this blanket for a long time. It's still not done. I have not worked on it since my husband came home. But he's leaving next week again for another 6 weeks. So I will get it done while he's gone. I've just come to the conclusion that we need to figure out how to work him into our lives and not drop every hobby out of it. While I was sewing, I was listening to my audiobook. And so I finished Anatomy, a Love Story, which I thought was really good. I gave it 4 stars. I already had the first one, but I went and bought the second one too. So I have both of them, and they're good enough where I'm keeping them on my shelf. Had I not already had the first book, I probably wouldn't have bought it because it was a low 4-star, but it was still really cute. So I liked it a lot. So I got that finished while I was sewing. And then I also started Immortality. Luckily, the library had it on audio just available to check out. Which, I mean, I have 5 library cards, so there's a good possibility that at least one of the books that I'm looking for is on at least one of those library apps. Oddly enough, the Seattle one's really good, and so is the Kitsap County, which is where I live now, also really good. The ones in California suck. I have 2 different ones from California, one from Burbank and one from Santa Clarita. Terrible, terrible selection. The one in Burbank has literally nothing. But you're so close to LA County, I figured you'd have a decent amount of stuff, and you just don't. The Sherwood area had a good selection, but I had to pay for that one. I just didn't want to pay for another one. But we also have access to the military one, and the military one, again, is actually pretty decent. It's a lot better than the California ones. It's weird. So moving on to Friday, I had another morning shift, 6:45 to 9:45, another 3 hours, another $121. Decent shift, did like it a lot. I'm glad that we have the ability to make money doing this. Again, I did some more sewing, and again, I finished another book. I finished Immortality, which is the second one to Anatomy. Again, good book, liked the ending, enjoyed it overall very much. But I did have to take a Victorian hiatus after this because that was too many Victorian books in a row. So I started listening to another Victorian book that I cannot think of the name of right off the top of my head, and I had to stop about 10 minutes in because I was like, you know what, too many Victorians, let's move on. And I ended up just picking up something else random, which I do not remember what it was, and I do not have it written down in here. Sometimes I'll write down the books I start. Sometimes I won't, but I always try to write down the ones I'm finishing. So we're moving on to the weekend right now. The weekend seems to be that time where I will bounce back and forth between Saturday and Sunday and not do them evenly like I probably should. But I'm going to go ahead and just tell you what happened on Saturday and Sunday in order, even though it's not 100% in order on the video that you're watching right now. So on Saturday, I did my workout again, 5 minutes on the elliptical, 45 minutes of weight training. If it's a leg day, I'll either go way over or way under. So my app is set up for 30-minute workouts, but for some reason, leg days will either take way longer than expected or way less time than expected, depending on what we do. Like yesterday's was a quad chest day, and it took us less time because we did everything on the machines instead of just doing like lunges and squats because we were in a hurry and didn't want to, which worked out for the best because a 4-hour shift right after that and a 3-hour shift right before was a lot of work for one day, and I think I probably would have cried if I had worked my thighs too hard. After working out, we did laundry, which we need to do again. I did not realize how much more laundry you have to do with one extra person. And I mean, it makes sense hypothetically that you'd have double the amount of laundry, but Jesus Christ, I went from doing laundry like once a week to needing to do it at least twice a week, if not 3 times a week. I'm not sure if he's doubling the laundry or if he's quadrupling it, but it's one of the two. And then the last thing that I did on Saturday was finish that quilt top. I have now since then finished the quilt top and gotten about halfway through the bottom. I just need to finish the bottom, and then I can sandwich it together and actually quilt the quilt. But the quilt top did get finished on Saturday, which I felt wonderful about, sent a bunch of pictures out, and everyone seems to like it. So hopefully it does look as good in reality as it does in my head. And then on Sunday, I had another shift. I had a night shift though. It was a 5:15 to 8:15 shift. It was only $112. Again, anything over $100 is what I take. If it's under $100, depending on the time frame, if it's a 2-hour shift under $100, of course I'm going to take it because that's good. But because of where the Amazon facility is located versus my house and where the radius is for where you can deliver, I've noticed that anything under $100 is just not worth it for me, because if I end up in Olympia and it takes me 2 hours to drive home from Olympia, it's not worth less than $100. It's just not. So $112, decent, not great. And then we had another workout day. We did 10 minutes on the elliptical and a 30-minute weight training. As what you can see is what I'm putting down right now is the workout. And then after we were done with the workout, before I did the my actual shift, we just did a quick grocery run. So it ended up being kind of a anticlimactic weekend, but you know, sometimes those anticlimactic weekends are exactly what you need. I'm not sure if I have anything else in here to show you while I'm looking at this. Also, I have one other section, so I think it's the deco section that I'm going to be putting down before I leave you to my past self. Again, I'm sorry that this took so long to get up. It was supposed to go up last Monday. I had it filmed on time. I just did not have it edited or the voiceover done. And so, I mean, the voiceover, it's Sunday afternoon, the next week from when I actually did this. And just a big oops. I also didn't mention why. I don't remember what day it was. I think it was Thursday. I turned off my camera for a minute while I was talking to someone in the family, and I forgot to turn it back on. And so you did miss a portion of Thursday, which I think I actually mentioned in my closing remarks when I'm showing you what's left of the kit. But I remember being so angry at myself that I forgot to turn the camera back on. Now I'm just waiting for batteries to charge so I can work on the last week, the first, that cuspy week between June and July, which would be my daughter's birthday. And I think that the kit that we picked out was super cute. It's an actual birthday cake kit, and it's strawberry themed. And my daughter adores strawberries. It's her favorite fruit, favorite decor, favorite everything. And there's actually a blonde girl in here that's one of the fashion girls that I think is really cute. It's also my dad's birthday, but let's be real here. The kit is not about my dad. It's about my daughter, because in the grand scheme of things, girls are always going to take precedence. But for this kit, I think that it turned out really cute, and I really liked all the sparkle and the shine. I think the pool illusion looks really good, and I just wanted to put down some extra sparkle. So I'm adding in all the little sparklies all over the place. I have little water splotches and the drips and stuff, and I just put them onto all of the boxes. Well, almost all the boxes that don't already have some sort of overlay on them. There was a couple that I missed. I think the only one I missed is the one that has all of the directions on it. The lagoon, lazy river, that one. I'm here on Wednesday. I didn't put anything down for. But it looks like that's it, and I'm done. So I'm going to sign off now and go back to past me with the closer for this video. Bye, guys.
Okay, guys, so we're done. Sorry about this portion. I'm assuming I would have told you that in the talk over portion, but just in case I haven't, I'm sorry about this portion. I was trying to turn off my camera so that way it would be less hectic to edit, but instead I mess it all up. All right, so we have a bunch of all of these left, all these little checklists. I can't cut these ones up, so I don't usually keep those ones, honestly, because if I can cut them up, then I'll keep them, but if I can't cut them up, I won't keep them. This will go into my miscellaneous stash. We have 4 little pool cues left. This will go upstairs, as will this. This will stay downstairs and go into the extras, as will this and this. And that will go upstairs, and I'll use the rest of the deco in my journal. So that is everything for the week. I hope you enjoyed. I think it turned out super cute and very rainbowish. And next week is my daughter's birthday week, and I have a special kit for her. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.